Namaskar, my dear friends. Once again, I'm back with my history channel, History Made Easy by Yogesh Kumar. I'm a teacher at Jan Bharati Megavati Vidyalaya. Today, we are going to take chapter Colonialism and Countryside. And for the session 2022, 21-22, this chapter has some portion of this chapter has been deleted. So I'm there with the chapter which is coming for the exams or that are going to happen in 2022. So, dear friends, you see that again I have divided the chapter into questions. I have framed certain questions with their answers. So, in this first question, why zamindars were not able to pay revenue to the Britishers, that whole process has been explained here. And in question number two, company took many steps so that they were able to control over zamindars. So, if zamindars would be under their control, it would be easy for them to control the whole system because zamindars were the main part of the agrarian society. Coming back to slide number two, here I've taken two questions. One is permanent settlement, and second question is why jotedars a powerful figure in many areas of rural Bengal. So there are two categories. One in zamindar that with whom Britishers had uh, permanent settlement, and there was another rich, influential group of peasants, which was known as Jotidars. So, was there a tussle between Jotidars and Zamindars, and how they were powerful? That has been beautifully explained and very simply explained in this particular question. And here, this revenue system was being introduced by Britishers in Bengal. So, what were its features? That has been very categorically told to you. So, these four questions, if you are able to do, then we can move to the slide number. Next, third. Here, basically, we talked about that company had a very strict policy regarding submission of revenue, right? And the revenue demand was also very high. The income of the zamindars was affected by the weather conditions. But in spite of all those reasons, क्या वो तरीके थे जिससे जमींदार जो थे वो अपनी जमींदारी को रिटेन कर पा रहे थे हाउ दे वर एबल टू रिटेन देयर जमींदारीज so here we have mentioned about fictitious sales we have talked about agents of zamindars they manipulated the auctions then they were attacked by lathas if people used to come from outside rayas were bound to zamindar by sense of loyalty kisan farmer जमींदार से जुड़ा रहता था and slowly and steadily जमींदार्स were consolidating their power. So, moving ahead, we take another question. Basically, what happened because East India Company was having control over trade in India, so there were other business houses which wanted their share. So, the working of the company was very minutely observed, and different reports were being put and tabled in British Parliament so that the working of East India Company in India can be discussed. So, a series of reports were being published, and out of that, we are talking about a particular report that is known as the fifth report. It was fifth of its series. It was a very voluminous report, as it says, 1002 pages. Then many groups wanted share in India trade, so they were trying to figure out, trying to show that how company was mishandling Indian affairs, how they were deep into corruption. So all those things were being discussed in that particular report. One important thing that after that, the British Crown took certain steps so that they can regulate the working of the company. And what did it say? It says that the Jamindari system is collapsing, but it was far away from truth because in the previous question we just discussed that somehow zamindars were able to retain their control over their zamindari. So this, see, as a student of history, I keep on telling in my class also that we should not be dependent on one sources. Yes, fifth report is an important document to study the agrarian society. Yes, fifth report is important to know the malfunction of the company. Yes, fifth report is important regarding the data which has been provided by it, but it is not the only source that we need to keep in mind, right? आगे चलते हैं. Now the next portion deals with the Rajmahal Hills, right? So Rajmahal Hills, people, those who used to live here, they were known as Pahadiyas. Name is their Pahadiyas, and they survived, or their livelihood was totally dependent on forest products, and they used to do the suffering cultivation. So, and they used to use hoe. कुदाली करके आप समझ लीजिए, आप इससे फावड़ा समझ लीजिए, आप जिसको जो भी समझना चाहते हैं, मतलब दे वर नॉट यूजिंग प्लो। व्हाई? बिकॉज द terrain was different. Hilly area tha. Plow would not work. So they used to collect mahua silk and all other things from it. What does this slide tell? That the life of Pahadiyas was totally dependent on forest, and they were very happy with their way of life. So here is the next question. It talks about, Britishers, they wanted more and more land to be cultivated. Pahadiyas, they only used land only so that they are able to fulfill their needs. So they were not aggressive cultivators. Basically, जो पहाड़ियास थे, they were not aggressive cultivators. So whenever they needed certain things, they used to raid the plains. It has been mentioned here. They raided the plain areas. So Jamindars wanted to buy peace. Why? Because if they will raid, their income would hit. So they wanted peace with the Pahadiyas. So later on, Britishers, along with Jamindars, they followed a policy of extermination. A brutal policy was being followed that has been explained here. But later on, peace settlements were negotiated, and the Britishers and the Jamindars, they asked the Pahadiya chiefs to take allowances and mind their men, but most of the Pahadiya chiefs refused to do that. But they went deep into forest because this was the question of their survival. So how a coming of Britishers and aggressive policy followed by them was very, very uh, brutal for Pahadiyas. Now, when Pahadiyas refused to do the cultivation, Britishers and Jamidars, they motivated a new tribe that was Santals. They were excellent forest cutters. They were being brought up here. Suddenly, their number started to increase. बहुत थोड़े से विलेजेस से उनका नंबर बढ़ गया, पॉपुलेशन की काफी बढ़ गई, एंड दे वर बीइंग प्रॉमिस्ड दैट दिस विल बी दामिनेको, दैट दामिनेको मींस दिस लैंड बिलोंग टू them. But when their number increased, when the number of villages increased, Britishers demanded revenue. So that created problem for the Santals, and they revolted. Before the revolt of 1857, that they revolted in 1885 and 1856. Although the revolt was suppressed, but a new Santhal Pargana was being created. So this was the outcome of that particular thing. So Britishers were very much interested in this particular area to know about the terrain and other important things. So they appointed Francis Buchanan. He was an employee of the British East India Company, and he marched with a lot of people to different areas. He collected details, surveyed landscape, and he not only talked about the particular landscape, but he also talked about how this landscape can be more productive. So the observation made by Buchanan, they were very important for the for the for the growth of income of Britishers, and they planned certain things so that this area can become more useful for Britishers. So I end this class here with there are around 10 questions, and my dear friends, if you are able to cover these 10 questions, the syllabus which is coming in 2022 exam, that is being covered. Happy learning. Namaskar.